A father is lying in a tent with his daughter Rag. He tries to tell her a story, but she is not interested at first. He tells her it is a new story, not about her, even though it clearly sounds like it is. She keeps interrupting, but he continues.
Don't make it about me.
I'm not making it about you. It's
The
about...
story is about two foxes, Goldie and her husband Art. Goldie is brave and loves the outdoors. Art is smart and quiet and likes to invent things. One day, Art takes his weather machine up a mountain. He sees dark storm clouds and a strange man shouting at the sky. Art gets a bad feeling, so he quickly goes back home. But Goldie is gone. Art follows a crowd of animals and finds Goldie at the bay. She is in line to get on a big wooden boat called Noah's Ark. She has been chosen to go with another male fox named Fang. Art tries to join, but he loses the contest because he is not strong or flashy.
That kind of stuff has got the sharpest fangs, and that's not really Art's thing.
Then the storm begins. Art dreams that Goldie is in trouble. When he wakes up, his home is full of water. He realizes the storm is real and the Ark is not safe. He asks his old friend Bob the Beaver to help him build a better boat called Art's Ark. They even make the first sail so the boat can go faster. They catch up to Noah's Ark, which is breaking apart in the storm. Art throws a rope, saves the animals, and pulls them all to land. Noah takes the credit, but Art does not care. He is happy to be with Goldie again. They build a new home and learn to appreciate each other more. After that, foxes are remembered for being smart and brave, not just strong or beautiful.
Foxhair, they were known for being clever and courageous animals.
After he finishes telling the story, the daughter starts thinking about it. She reflects on the fact that she is the only one of her kind. This is a post-apocalyptic world, and a pandemic wipes out most of the female population. Her father gently reassures her that there are others like her in the world and says she will meet them when she grows up. She asks if they would know that she is a girl, and he confirms.
Well, they'll know if you let them know.
The next morning, the father washes clothes in the river and starts packing their things. He checks on Rag, who is reading. Later, they go for a walk in the forest. During the walk, he helps her practice spelling words.
Igator.
Okay.
In the middle of the exercise, she changes the subject and asks about the difference between morals and ethics. They have a thoughtful discussion about right and wrong and how people's choices can be judged differently depending on the situation. She talks about a character in her book who behaves badly and tries to understand his decisions.
To protect himself, and then he doesn't lie when he could lie.
While they are still outside, they see a man near their camp. The father tells Rag to hide and goes to speak to the man, who claims he is just looking around. Rag appears and the man notices her. The father quickly pretends she is his son. The man asks some questions, but the father avoids answering. Eventually, the man leaves.
I will be on my way then.
After he is gone, the father tells Rag to pack everything because they need to leave right away. When she asks why, he tells her it is not safe anymore. As they walked, he reprimanded her for coming out of her hiding spot.
You've never done that before, and you gotta listen to my instructions when I give them.
Later, they made camp to rest. She says she does not know anyone except her father. He jokes about it being enough and reassures her with love and support, trying to comfort her.
You know how much I love you.
To the sun and back.
The next morning, Rag becomes sick. The father treats her with a homemade remedy by mixing charcoal with water. She worries that she might have the plague, but he assures her she does not. While sitting beside her, he starts thinking about his wife, lost in memories. He remembered the last days of his wife after she was infected by the plague.
Well, I don't want to die on a cot in an overcrowded field hospital.
Once the daughter feels better, they continue their journey. From a distance, they see a house. The daughter wants to explore it, but the father is afraid someone might be living there. She points out that the house is covered in vines and looks abandoned. After thinking it over, they decide to go check it out. Inside the house, they look around and find that it's completely empty. The father checks upstairs while his daughter waits downstairs. When he finds that no one is there, he tells her it's safe to come up.
Take off your pack. You can go up.
They explore each room carefully. The father discovers that the house still has running water. The daughter asks if they can stay, but he is hesitant.
It's closer to other people. I don't think it's a safe place to be.
He worries that living in a house might draw attention. She tries to convince him by saying the house is dusty and clearly abandoned. Eventually, he agrees to stay, but only for a few days.
A few days, or not at all.
Okay, fine for a few days.
The daughter begins exploring the house while the father sets things up to make it livable. After setting up a tent inside the house, he goes out to cook. While doing this, He has flashbacks of the past, remembering life before everything changed. The next morning, the father sees that his daughter is wearing clothes that make her look more like a girl. He tells her to take them off to avoid being recognized. She changes into a jacket instead, but it is sparkly, so he asks her to remove that too.
It's got sparkly things all over it.
Later, while the father works on securing the house, the daughter explores a nearby shed. Inside, she sees something alarming and calls for her father. He rushes over and finds the remains of a woman and a child. This discovery shakes both of them.
Mother and a daughter, but it's hard to tell, right?
That night, as they lie in bed, the daughter asks questions about the skeletons they found. The father tries to estimate when the people died and how old the child might have been. He reassures her that they are not in the same danger, explaining that the sickness is no longer spreading like before. But still, the world is not safe.
It's balanced.
They talk about what it will take for the world to feel right again. The father says that more women are needed to bring balance back. He reflects on how fear, sadness, and loneliness turned many men angry and violent, causing them to lose sight of what matters in life. He tells her that love and stories are some of the most important things because they help people feel connected and hopeful. They both agree that not all men are bad, but it is hard to know who to trust, so they must stay cautious for now. Still, they find comfort in being together, just the two of them.
I kind of like it, just you and me.
Yeah, me too.
The next morning, the father starts packing up their belongings. Rag asks if they are leaving, and he explains that they are not leaving just yet, but he wants to store their things properly. He tells her they should not leave their things lying around, even inside a house.
We don't leave our belongings sitting around a camp. We're not going to leave them sitting around in the house.
He instructs her to gather her items, pack her day bag, and wear her usual clothes. Rag is annoyed, especially about having to wear a hat, but her father insists that while she can choose her attitude, some decisions are not hers to make.
When you have to do things that you don't want to do.
They walk into town together. Rag wears her own clothes and keeps her hat. Once in town, they pick up some supplies. During their visit, a man starts talking about women supposedly being made in labs by Chinese scientists.
Hey, you like little yellow China dolls?
The father, not interested in this conversation, quietly walks away with Rag. They go to the library and look through books. Rag spends time reading. Afterward, on their way back, she begins to ask questions about her own body. She wonders about her height and says she read that a woman's legs are supposed to be half her body length. When asked where she read this, she says it was in a magazine from the library. Her father tells her that magazines often lie about how people are supposed to look and act. He tries to reassure her that her legs are just right because they do what they are supposed to do, reach the ground.
Well, then they're perfect.
Later, while they are eating, the father brings up the strange comment from the man in town and checks if Rag understood what he meant. She says she sort of did, and he realizes she already knows a little bit about how babies are made. He is surprised and unsure about how much she has learned from books, but he decides to explain everything clearly and calmly.
So I'll just explain it because it's not that big of a deal.
He tells her that babies are created when a man and a woman who love each other come together in a physical way, which causes a baby to grow inside the woman's body, specifically in the womb. He explains that this is a normal and natural part of adult life. He also explains that as a child, her body will go through changes later when she gets older. This process is called puberty, and during it, the body changes in many ways. He tries to reassure her that this is all completely normal and safe.
Everyone goes through it, and it's very safe.
The father also explains that the man's comment about yellow China dolls was a racist and sexist remark. He says some people speak about others' skin color or gender in a way that might seem polite, but is actually hurtful or disrespectful.
No, there's no one skin color that's any better than another skin color.
He explains that calling girls dolls is another way people make them seem small or not real instead of treating them like full human beings. He reminds Rag that everyone is equal and that respect, love, and honesty are what matter most. He ends the conversation by giving her more information about puberty, including how periods work, and reassures her that it is all natural. He tells her to come to him when it happens so he can support her, and explains that it does not mean anything is wrong, it just means her body is working the way it should. He connects it to her mother's experience and tries to make the topic feel safe and normal.
Not a big deal.
That night, Rag remains quiet. She and her father return to their tent to sleep. The father senses something is off and tries to check in with her emotionally. They begin a conversation about love, memory, and her mother.
How can you love someone that you never see?
Rag asks how he can still love someone he never sees, and he explains that it is possible to miss someone, remember them, and still love them. Rag says she doesn't remember her mother and only has one old scratched-up photo. She admits that she doesn't have an image of her mother in her mind. Her father reassures her that her mother was the best, someone who loved Rag more than anything, and was kind, fun, and full of life.
She could get along with anybody.
He shares memories of their past adventures as a family. Her mother used to call every trip a love adventure, whether things went perfectly or completely wrong. Even when they had bad luck or everything fell apart, she kept a positive spirit. He tells Rag that her mother made everything feel special, even during difficult times. They also joke about her mother's cooking, saying it was famously terrible and salty, but in a way that now feels full of love and warmth. Later that night, the father has a flashback of Rag's mother before she died. In it, she tells him to talk to Rag about her, not just the good memories, but also the bad, so that Rag could know her truthfully and completely.
And that I really wanted to be your mom.
The next morning, the father sees someone through the window. Alarmed, he quickly hides Rag in a closet he had prepared for emergencies. He goes downstairs and speaks with the group of strangers outside. They say they are looking for gas. He tells them they have none and refuses to let them into the house.
Sorry, my brothers are sleeping and they don't want anybody in the house.
One of the men asks if he was the person seen in town with a child. The father denies it and claims they have the wrong house. He quickly heads back upstairs. With no time to waste, he climbs into the closet with Rag and escapes through a secret exit route he had built earlier. When the group breaks into the house, the father and Rag are already gone. Later that night, Rag and her father take shelter in an abandoned church. While sitting together, Rag begins asking questions about the people who came to the house. Her father explains that they were dangerous and likely looking for someone vulnerable, like a girl. He tries to comfort her by saying she is safe because she is careful, and he promises that no one will take her
I
away.
could take you anywhere because they can't find you.
But where would they?
Rag keeps asking difficult questions about what would happen if he were hurt, tied up, or even killed. The father answers each one with calm strength, telling her that he would always try to protect her, and no matter what happens, he would always be with her in spirit. He reassures her that she is tough, smarter than most people, and capable of surviving. He reminds her to trust her instincts and take care of herself, just like she's learned to do.
Somehow, then you can get by too because you're much tougher than they are.
She worries about being alone and about the supplies they left behind when they escaped. The father tells her not to focus on what they lost, but on what they still have and how they can prepare better in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
The next morning, it is raining when they head out. The father tells Rag they have a long walk ahead. Their destination is his grandmother's house, which is up in the mountains. He describes it as a peaceful, remote place with animals, a lake, a boat, and room for sledding. It is far from people in danger, and he believes it will be a good new home.
There'll be a lot of walking.
Rag asks how many days the trip will take, but he cannot say for sure. He only knows it will be a long journey, and they need to start before the weather gets too cold. If they find a faster way to travel, they'll use it. When Rag quietly suggests they're leaving because of her, the father doesn't respond directly.
Never mind.
The next day, Rag's father flags down a car on the road and asks for a ride. The driver is a young man who turns out to be 19 years old. As they drive, the young man talks about the place where he lives with over 100 other people. He says they live off the grid and have their own food, power, and even women. He explains that there is a place called the bunker where females are kept, and while they are not allowed to leave, he used to bring them supplies and sneak them treats like coffee, cigarettes, and chocolate. He talks casually about the women being held there, not realizing how serious the situation sounds.
Everyone knows that they're there. They just can't get into the compound.
Suddenly, the father tells the young man to stop the car. When they get out, he admits he didn't actually see anything on the road. Instead, he tells the young man that he has to take the car. The young man is confused and scared, but the father says that neither of them has a choice. He explains that the driver helped those women, even if it was just small acts of kindness, and that now it's time to help someone else, him and Rag. Despite the young man's protests, the father takes the car and drives away with Rag, leaving the driver behind. They eventually arrive at the place the father had been hoping to reach. It is cold, and they knock on the door of a house. A man answers. He introduces himself as Tom and his two friends as Calvin and Lammy.
I'm Caleb. This is my son, Alex.
The father introduces himself as Caleb and Rag as Alex, pretending she is his son. The father tells them the house belongs to his grandparents. Tom explains the house had been abandoned when they found it, and they had taken care of it to keep it from falling apart. He offers to help them find a new place if they have somewhere else to go, but also says they can stay the night.
Why don't we get you set up? What do you say?
Later that night, while getting ready for bed, the father quietly reminds Rag to be cautious and shows her how to escape if needed.
Tell me what we're gonna do.
We're gonna go out the window.
The next morning, they go outside and hide their supplies in a shed, then return to the house for a meal. During the meal, the father asks Tom questions about the area.
There's a market. And if you have papers, they'll honor them.
Later, he notices some sheep and goes outside to look for Rag. He finds her sitting with Tom and quickly pulls her away. Later, Tom confronts the father. Tom asks if Rag is really his daughter.
Now, what I'm asking you is that your daughter?
The father insists she is his son, but Tom presses the issue. He explains that he has lost his wife, 3 daughters, granddaughters, and step-granddaughters in just a few weeks, one of them to violence. He makes it clear that he won't tolerate any form of harm or abuse, and that he needs to be sure the child is safe and truly in good hands.
So if you think that I'm going to be anything but an upstander,
The father finally admits the truth. He says Rag is his daughter and shares a photo of her with her mother. He tells Tom her name is Anna Elizabeth Shaw, but they call her Rag, short for Raggedy Ann. Tom listens and, sensing the truth in his words and grief, acknowledges that they must have been through a lot.
I had some good times, too.
That night, Tom speaks privately with Rag's father. He says he has heard about places that are supposed to be safe for women, including one nearby and another in New York. The father responds carefully, saying that while he's also heard of such places, he isn't sure they are truly safe. He asks if Tom is trying to tell them to leave.
If that's your way of asking us to go, I understand.
Tom makes it clear that he's not forcing them out. Instead, he reflects on the long journey the father and Rag have been on. He wonders how all of it has shaped Rag while growing up in such harsh conditions. He suggests that maybe the father should consider stopping for a while and trusting a higher power.
if you stay put, you have faith, and let God make the plan.
Later, Rag calls for her father, and he heads upstairs. They spend time together, telling stories, and then read a book before going to bed. It is a peaceful moment between them after so much tension and travel.
And we went to the doctor, and it was just...
The next morning, the father notices something suspicious outside. He immediately senses danger and quickly hides Rag in the attic. He then helps her escape through the window and lowers her down, dropping her just before someone enters. A man bursts in, and the father fights him. After a fierce struggle, he manages to overpower the attacker. He heads downstairs and is met by another man. Another fight breaks out, and again the father defends himself, defeating the second man. As he escapes the house, he sees that the 3 men who had given them shelter, Tom, Calvin, and Lammy, have been killed. Just as he steps outside, another attacker ambushes him. The two struggle violently. In the middle of the fight, Rag returns. She has found a gun and uses it to shoot the attacker, saving her father's life. Her father limps towards her and immediately hugs her tightly. He then rushes her into the shed to take cover. Inside, he collapses. He has been shot, but luckily the bullet is not deep. Rag helps treat his wound by removing the bullet, though he is still in pain. After a moment of rest, he wakes up. He realizes Rag is no longer in the shed. Alarmed, he goes outside and starts calling for her.
Ray!
Finally, he sees her in the distance, returning and dragging something behind her. She had gone out to retrieve supplies. She then wraps up his injury. After recovering from the attack, the father gets up and begins telling Rag that they will leave for a better place, somewhere peaceful, with kind and loving people. As he speaks, his emotions overwhelm him, and he begins to cry. Rag walks over to him and gently hugs him, trying to comfort him in his moment of pain. Softly, she whispers that it is all just an adventure,